Okay, if I'm being completely honest, I have never read the Percy Jackson book series. I have watched the movies. I know probably gonna get hate for that. I'm not really in the fandom, but I do like I love Greek mythology, and Percy Jackson is hot. So we're doing this. Also, I was thinking of doing some BTS, but then I'm like, I probably can't say. I can say some other names, and the others, it's just horrible, and I feel bad, and I don't want to offend anybody. So I'm not sure yet. I might do BTS soon. But so far, we're doing Percy Jackson. Woo! If I say anyone's name wrong, I am sorry. Okay, let's get into it. Make sure to go support the author, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay. Fantastic. You knew you shouldn't have gone hiking with Percy, especially since the weather called for rain showers non-stop today. It started raining as soon as you were a mile away from camp, with no shelter in sight except for a pricey hotel that wouldn't even allow you in the lobby with your lack of mortal money. Now here you are, laying under a number of blankets brought up to your chin, hair sticky with sweat from your fever, and nose stuffy and running rapidly, which was the reason behind the pile of dirty tissues in the trash bin beside your bed. You tossed off the covers you so desperately needed only a minute ago while moaning about how hot you felt, swiping your forehead weakly and calling out for Will, who was supposed to be taking care of you. You propped yourself up on your elbows and peered around with a lazy gaze. Will? You croaked out, clutching your throat in pain. The only response you were given was silence and the occasional clacking of metal from the infirmary beds filled with injured campers. You huffed and swinged your legs out from under the sheets and are greeted with the cold hardwood floor as you made your way, rather shakily, through the infirmary and out into the seemingly empty big house. Sharon? Mr. D? No answer. You groan out in pain when your head begins to throb in pain, which started to obscure your already hazy vision. You lean against the wall, exhausted and feeling the need to vomit anything that was left in your already empty stomach. What are you doing? Oh God, let's get you back to bed. You hear someone say in a panicky voice just before you're hoisted up onto your feet by strong arms. Now that you think about it, these arms felt familiar. You were so lucky I love you, or else I'd be dragging you by your arms. Was that Percy? You shake your head in an attempt to clear your vision enough to identify your nurse, but it was no use. Get some rest, dimwit, you heard after drifting into dreamland. You were already planning his murder once you're well. You awoke later that day feeling slightly less like death than you did yesterday. Your head had ceased to throb and your fever had calmed down due to the sweating out the fever earlier that day. Look who's up. Rise and shine, sweetheart. You heard a tired voice chuckle. You turned your head and noticed Percy sitting on a backwards chair with his head resting on his crossed arms. You feeling better? You nod and rub your eyes sleepily. I still feel like death, but not as bad as yesterday. Was that you that held me out last night? You questioned with a raised brow and turning over to look at him dead on. I could have sworn that was you. I can't really remember it clearly though. Percy cocked his head to the side. Since you're feeling better, he trailed off, looking to the side before snapping his gaze back to you. What the Hades were you thinking? You could have passed out face first into the ground and broken your face or something. He lectured very similarly to how a worrisome mother would. Are you trying to give me a heart attack? You snickered and nodded. Yeah, that's my life goal. You loved teasing Percy. He was always so stressed about, well, everything, so it was sort of your job to de-stress him. Hardy har har. I'm serious about this, listener. He scolded with crossed arms, his brows furrowed in concern, and his hair a mess from where he had parted his fingers through it from worry. He sighed and placed his head in his hands, rubbing his face before looking up at you through his long lashes. This cold of yours can get worse if you aren't taking care of yourself. Will said so himself. You sat up much to Percy's protest and clasped his hands in your own, looking down at his hands while you spoke softly. Percy, I'm sorry. You can't keep stressing yourself over me, though. I'll be okay. You assured with a small smile in his direction. Will is a good doctor, so I'm sure I'll be out in training in no time. Percy shook his head and sat on the edge of the bed, his lips pressed into a thin line as he debated on what to do with you. He sighed and brushed away stray hair strands that hung in front of your tired eyes. Will's good, but he's busy. I won't let you stay here by yourself, since you can't seem to stay in bed, he sassed. You rolled your eyes and pushed his hand back to him. Percy, you are not staying here with me. I'm fine. You laid back onto the not-so-fluffy pillow and turned away from him out of irritation. Not long after you had turned your back to the bright-eyed boy, you felt the bed sink behind you and a sun-kissed arm laced around your waist. A kiss being placed behind your ear. He sighed and nuzzled the nape of your neck with his nose. Listener, I'm just worried about you. It's my fault you're sick in the first place. If I hadn't forced you to come hiking with me, then you wouldn't be sick. He mumbled apologetically. Now you just felt bad, mentally and physically. All he wanted to do was help, and you had to push him away rudely. How much of a bitch are you? You turned in his grip to face the upset-looking demigod. It's not your fault, Perce. I'm just being bitchy because I'm sick. That's all. Thank you for being here, though, you said with a small closed-lip smile. Percy grinned lopsidedly and started to lean in when you held your hand to his lips, shocking him. Babe, I'm sick, so don't kiss me. He rolled his eyes and removed your hand and kissed your palm while looking into your eyes mischievously. I don't care. We'll be sick together. He spoke with a small chuckle before planting his salty-tasting lips onto your chapped ones. Percy sneezed, his nose bright red and his usual bright sea green eyes now droopy and tired as he weakly glared at the ceiling. You snickered as you held some nectar in a cup, the straw in front of his dry lips. I told you not to kiss me, fish for brains. Now look what happened. He grumbled and sucked on the straw, perking when the sweet liquid hit his tongue. You pulled the straw away when you realized his self-control had vanished when the fever hit him last night. He whined and pouted at you, his eyes glowing and forming the baby seal look he'd mastered. At least I have a hot nurse. Maybe all those cartoons weren't lying. He smirked and shed a wink at you, which normally would have caused you to roll your eyes at his flirty nature, but this time he just looked like a flirty old man. You scoffed and placed the glass down on the side table. Yeah, your nurse is super hot, you said slyly before backing up and calling out, Will! Percy's eyes widened at your actions and tried to yell at you, but all that came out was a cough. Will shuffled over to Percy while drying his hands with a dishcloth. All right, Percy, time for some rest. Listener, you can go now. I'll be his nurse today. He joked, not knowing why you were laughing so hard and why Percy looked absolutely horrified. The room is literally empty for once. Oh my god, there is no child trying to watch Mickey Mouse on the bed. I am super happy because when she is watching Mickey Mouse on the bed, she's like clapping and stuff. And then I have to re-record stuff because you hear her in the background. I love her, but oh my god, the room is quiet. Whoa! I finished. This one was really cute. I really like this one. First, he is like flirty but caring and like, and then the listener is just like moody but like sweet on the inside, kind of like tsundere-ish but like nicer. But yeah, it was good. I liked it. I finished early, so I'm about to just work on my snowflake and hopefully I can finish that today. If not, then but you know, I'm gonna work with what I got. We're gonna do this. I hope you guys are having a nice day, night, afternoon, and see you in the next video. Finger guns.